Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my actual labor and birth story. So hi again guys, if you have just watched part 1 and you are here watching the follow-up, hello again. If you are just tuning in, make sure you go watch part 1 so that you can understand this whole story a bit more. For those of you who are back, I'm just gonna get back into it. Excuse me looking down at my book, but I do have notes because or else I wouldn't remember everything that I plan on telling you. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let's pick up where I left off. So that was 6 a.m. and Puppy had just come to the hospital and they transported us from the maternity ward to my labor suite. And that's when things got real. I got changed into my hospital gown and I was going to get my waters broken. Now before everything started, I did have a chat with my midwife because she did want to go through the things with me and ask me what I was willing to take, what I was not willing to take, you know, regarding the drugs and, you know, the painkillers and stuff that can help us during labor. It's very important that you discuss this before your labor actually starts because, you know, you can be a kind of person that just say, oh, I'm not taking anything, but then in the moment of pain, you're like, give me something, you know, and she's gonna say no because you said no, you said you didn't want any. So it's very important that you clearly explain what you are willing and what you are not willing to take. I basically told her, I am willing to take everything. And she said, okay, I will guide you through it. As I see you like progressing in your labor, I will offer you certain things when I think the time is right. And I was completely happy with that. So yeah, I'm a sucker for pain. So anything that was gonna help me and my baby get through that quickly, I was willing to do. So just to give you also a bit of a better idea, I was induced at 35 plus 4 weeks. So Leo was just short of 36 weeks. He was a very tiny baby and we knew that. And I also knew that there was a chance that he was going to be taken away when he was born to the neonatal clinic. What's it called? Like an ICU and CIU, something like that, where they keep the babies and the premature babies in the incubators. And if that was the case, I had already prepared myself mentally for that as well. As you can tell, there's a lot of mental preparation when you have a bit of a struggle. It's very important that you do so because if you don't, I think you just break down. But yeah, we knew that there was a chance, but you know, we just had to wait till he was actually born to actually see what was going to happen. So I was induced at 35 plus 4 weeks and this was due to preeclampsia. If you don't know what preeclampsia is, make sure you watch part 1 of this video so I don't keep repeating myself when I explain what preeclampsia is. So yeah, I had my waters broken. They bring up the hook. It's like a really big, it looks like a big knitting hook, and they place it like between their fingers and they go in there and pop it. And when you see it, you are a bit scared, but I promise you that does not hurt. You don't feel anything. So I was glad that that was painless. I had my waters break, and if I was to describe the feeling of my waters breaking, it's like you are uncontrollably peeing yourself. It's like you peeing, but you can't control it. You can't stop, or you know, you just can't do it. It's just I know, it can be gross, but you know, this is a labor story. So yeah, I had my waters broken and then I had a drip put in my vein because that usually helps the dilation down there. And yeah, everything was fine. I was happy. I was sitting on a gym ball and I was like doing my bouncing exercises and stuff and controlling myself all right. And contractions started to slowly increase. And if I was to describe contractions, I remember them being like period pains, but really, really bad period pains. I was never the type to have bad period pains, but I do know what they feel like. I've had them occasionally, and that's the closest thing I could describe the contractions to. Your uterus just, you know, doing the contracting, and it just, things escalated so quickly. It just goes from bad period pains to really bad period pains to extremely bad period pains. And then they offered me, she's like, try the oxygen mask, because you have the oxygen mask which most pregnant women use. And I had a friend tell me like, oh, you're gonna love it, you're gonna feel a bit like you're high with it, or you feel a bit dizzy and stuff, and you know, it's like you have a drink and you'll manage to relax. That unfortunately did not happen for me, and I actually felt that it, like inhaling all that air was drying out my throat so much, and it was so annoying because you know, they tell you like to breathe, and that's what actually helped me. The mask was of no help at all, so I just kept doing my breathing exercises and squeezing puppy's hand, and that's what helped me get through it actually. Yes, mommy.
Ice cream.
You want ice cream? So yeah, things just escalated so quickly that I was actually offered the Petadine injection, and that really made me chill out. And I think I actually slept. I passed out for like 45 minutes to an hour. So I actually managed to sleep during my labor, which was really, really helpful. I calmed down. The baby was still doing okay. They had an eye on him through the baby monitor that's strapped onto your tummy. And that hour, I don't even know how that hour went by, but yeah, it actually did. And back then, we weren't even vlogging yet, but we were always the type of people that would carry like a GoPro around and record things on our phone or like our camera, our GoPro camera. But things escalated so quickly for me that the only piece of footage we have is I'll try to insert it somewhere here, is me just like basically breathing, like rubbing my face in the pillow, squeezing puppy's hand like I wanted to break it, and warning, I look like a potato, like, you know, like you do when you're in labor and your face is all round and stuff. Yeah, so that's basically the only piece of footage that we have, and I think that was actually after I woke up from having the Petadine injection, and I went from being all calm, and it escalated all the way to 1,000 really, really quickly again, and I suddenly had, how can I put this? I needed to go to the toilet. Like, I felt the urge to poo. Excuse the TMI, but that's exactly what I felt. It's like, and it's not like a normal like poo. It's like you're really constipated and you have to go. So I just informed the midwife. I told her, listen, like I feel like I really need to use the bathroom, and she's like, okay, no worries. Like, I had the drip on, so she's like, careful with your drip, get up and you can go. And as soon as I got up from the bed, I had a patch of blood on the bed, and she's like, no, wait. She's like, you're not going anywhere, get back on that bed, I need to check you right now. And she checks me, and she's like, the baby's here. Like, the baby's here. Oh, and mind you, I forgot to mention, like, as soon as I woke up from the Petadine and all of a sudden my contractions went from 0 to 1,000 really, really quickly, I had another midwife be like, are you feeling a lot of pain? I'm like, yes. I couldn't like control myself and stuff. She's like, do you want the epidural? I can prepare it for you. I'm like, yeah, if you think it's time, hit me. And she's like, okay. And she left the room. She went to prepare the epidural. And in the meantime, I got the pooping urge. And this other midwife was like, you don't need to poop, you need to push. And I'm like, what? And things got really quickly. All of a sudden, I just remember being on the bed. My legs were both up here. There's 5 midwives around me, including Matt right here, like squeezing my legs into a sandwich form. And everyone's like, you have to push, you have to push. And then the other midwife walks in with her little tray with the epidural on it. And it's like, it's too late, I can't have the epidural now. I just had to push. And it's such a surreal feeling because you have to push when the contraction comes. And it does take a while for you to get it right. And I did waste about 7 pushes. I really did. Because until you get the hang of it, you sort of have to push and hold your breath in while you actually do it. But I wasn't holding my breath in enough because I was breathing to help me like go through the pain. And yeah, so I wasted 7 pushes, but after I understood what needed to be done, 3 pushes and he was out. It was that quickly. I remember Matt telling me like he was looking there and he would see the head coming out and it would go back in. And then he saw the head and everyone's like, yes, push. And by the time he looks to my face to encourage me, to tell me, yes, you're doing great, like keep pushing. Like Leo just flew out. He literally, and I remember just like, he just came out, he's on the bed, everyone's just staring at me because he was spat out so quickly. And he looked a little bit purple and that really worried me. And I'm like, is he breathing? Is he okay? That's the first thing I asked. And they checked him quickly and they said yes. And they told me we have to take him away so that we can clean him up and stuff. And I knew that they were gonna do that. I actually thought that they were gonna take him to the neonatal care unit like I mentioned earlier. And obviously, I don't know if you're told this, but if you're not aware, whenever the midwife takes your baby out of the room, your husband, partner, whoever's with you in the birthing suite has to follow. You know, you have to make sure that's your baby. Because, you know, all babies sort of look alike. But anyway, Matt followed and made sure he was okay. They were just in a room opposite the labor suite that I gave birth in. And they had 2 little incubators there. And they put Leo in one of them. And Matt came back to me and I was still like a little bit under shock. Like, you just feel overwhelmed with everything that just happened. Like, you can't believe yourself. Like, did I really do that? Like, did I just give birth to a baby? And it's just like, it's a very magical and surreal thing to like take in. And yeah, like, thank God that passed. I was still in bed because I had to get stitched. And I remember getting stitched was, it was a bad experience. Like, looking back, I think getting stitched was worse than giving birth. It really was. Like, it just felt like an eternity. And then I could somehow feel, and they're like, oh, just take the gas mask so that you can relax. And so I'm like, I don't like this. I really hate it. Maybe I was being a bit over dramatic because I was super emotional about what had just happened and stuff. But yeah, once that was over, I could get up and go have my shower. And I did. Matt was there helping me. Oh, and I remember another thing. I remember another thing about the shower, which may also be a bit too much info, but I'm gonna share it with you guys anyway. I was taking a shower and Matt was there with me to make sure, like, you know, I didn't feel dizzy or would fall or anything. And all of a sudden this blood clot falls out of me. I swear it was as big as my fist. And like, we just both looked at it like what the hell is that? And it looked like a blood jellyfish. It was really weird. And I got a bit like scared about it. And I like, there's a button inside the toilets. Like, if you feel bad, there's like an emergency button, and I pressed it and the midwife comes running and she's like, is everything okay? And like, Matt's sitting there looking at the blob on the floor. I'm naked in the shower and I'm like, is this normal? And she's like, is it a blood clot? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, is it bigger than your hand? And like, it was as big as a fist, but not bigger than my hand. And I said, no. She's like, oh, this happens sometimes. I'm like, okay. And down the drain it went. So pretty disgusting, to be honest. But yeah, it was funny too at the same time. My shower was over. I was all clean and changed. I got back to bed, and they actually brought my baby to me for the very first time. And I could have my moment, like when they hand you the baby for the first time and you actually, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. I'm such an emotional person, guys. Like, I cry really, really quickly, and just thinking about that moment, it's one of the most beautiful things that I have ever experienced in my life. I held him and he was nursing on me. Yeah, it was really beautiful. I finally met my son for the very first time, and he was perfect. And if I had to explain this experience in a few words, it would be like, it was the biggest dose of love that I have ever felt in my life. Like, if you think you know what love is, have a baby and then come back to me. Like, you can't even control. You think you know what love is when you love your family, or you think you know what love is when you love your partner, but the dose of love of seeing your own child, it's on another level. I mean, I can't even explain it in words. Like, you have to become a parent in order to understand what I'm trying to say, I guess. But yeah, that was my magical birth story, guys. And all of this just happened in 3.5 hours. That's how long I was in labor for. So I got induced at 9 a.m. 12:35 p.m. Leo was born. Now, this had partially, to do with my blood pressure, because labors do tend to be shorter, I was told, when you have high blood pressure. And in my case, thank God it was this quickly, because had it been much longer than that, I would have been rushed into an emergency C-section anyway. And so yeah, I'm really glad that things worked out the way they did. I had a lot of support from the midwives and my partner, and it was just perfect. However, things didn't stay perfect for long, because my blood pressure went crazy after that. And that's exactly what I'm going to speak to you in part 3 of this video. So if you do want to make sure you don't miss that, make sure you are subscribed, and also make sure you hit that bell so that you can be notified of when that video is up. And I will see you in the next one. But one last thing before I go, like, please share your labor story in the comment section down below. I really love to go back to the comment section and like read through other people's experiences, because I think we can all learn and be compassionate for each other when we learn about others' experiences and situations. So yeah, make sure you do that too, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.